3 lifelong friends, 6 trusty balls, and endless NFL takes. Welcome to 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast.
Welcome to episode 27 of 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast. Week 1 of the NFL season is officially in the books, and so we're going to give some of our thoughts on the NFL season to start off here. So we're going to give some thoughts from Week 1. We're going to do some over or under reactions from Week 1, and then later on in the show, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the teams that we have eliminated as our potential new favorite teams. And Avery also has a game for us today. So we've got kind of a packed schedule. So to start off, Avery, just give us one thought from Week 1 of the NFL. It could be something good, something bad.
Oh, wait, you go. This will be part of my
No. Why don't you get it out of the way?
No. Avery,
Listen. Linda.
It had to do with what Joel said, but I'll save it for my thought. So, Avery, please.
Okay. Begrudgingly, yes. I thought the Packers look a lot better than I thought they'd be. And I don't know if it's necessarily Micah Parsons or just that team just feeling confident. They're looking great. I don't think that is the best that the Lions could do, but I really like that showing, and I think the Packers have a lot to look forward to, which pains me a little because I'm not a big fan of the Packers.
Same. All right, Will, give us one thought from Week 1 of the NFL.
It is possible, looking at the schedules, that the Bills go 16-0 and that the Ravens, or 17-0, excuse me, and the Ravens go 16-1. That was two of the absolute, and I will come back to this game later on, but that was some of the best football that I've seen in a long time. And my other half thought that I was going to say earlier is it was so nice to watch football this entire weekend and not get mad at any point. Never once did I be like, oh, my team this, oh, come on, you guys this. An unaffiliated NFL fan, Avery, you have been vibing your whole life on this. Now, granted, UNC football may be tearing you down some, but you got Oregon for football. And so, like unaffiliated NFL fan, that might just be where I end up here. I might just be an unaffiliated NFL fan.
You realize Avery's had it right this whole time. We've been trying to get him to pick a team.
Yeah.
Why?
I was looking online, and you can just buy NFL Shield logo stuff. Just a hat that has the NFL Shield on it. Just says NFL across it. I considered it strongly. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. It was very nice to just not care about the result of any game.
That's like watching the Hunger Games. Like, I just hope the Capitol is doing well. I hope that, all the contestants are trying hard, but I'm really rooting for the Capitol.
Yeah. But hey, you know what? It's entertainment, and it was entertaining. Very entertaining this week.
Yeah.
It was very entertaining.
That Bills game was nuts.
That was crazy.
That was nuts.
I mean, that's Sunday Night Football, right? Like, that was the nighttime game. It was 15 points with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That was 9-something p.m. here on the West Coast, which means it's 11 p.m. on a work night on the East Coast. There's no way. I mean, there are people left the stadium early. I was in Buffalo. People left the stadium early. Like, all right, well, I guess we lost this one. And then to come back in the fashion they did, just absolutely insane. Must watch.
It's very
TV.
similar. It's very similar to the Vikings Bears. Just like strong fourth quarter. Bills had a 22-point fourth quarter. Vikings had a 21-point. Jeez.
Well,
6
speaking
to
of
27.
the Vikings Bears, my thought from Week 1 that I took away is Kevin O'Connell is a fantastic head coach. Absolutely fantastic head coach. You have your I guess you could say rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, who everybody has been wondering how this guy's going to play. Everybody's been criticizing this guy because he's a handoff specialist, Will. And
I'll admit it. I'm not ready to move off of that from him anyway.
Anyways,
I'm not either.
You got this guy who comes into his first NFL career game and everybody has been criticizing him before he's even played a game. He plays the whole first half and just struggles. And then in the second half, in the third quarter, he comes in and he throws a pick six for his first NFL touchdown. Everybody's like, I told you, JJ McCarthy sucks. He's terrible. And then something flipped the switch for JJ McCarthy. I don't know what Kevin O'Connell said to JJ McCarthy or what he did with JJ McCarthy to flip that switch, but it was 17-6, and JJ McCarthy throws 2 touchdown passes and gets a rushing touchdown and completely turns that game around for the Vikings. And I just think that Kevin O'Connell is an absolutely fantastic coach. One, because he was able to turn that around for not only his team, but with JJ McCarthy. And the second reason why I think he's a fantastic coach is because of what happened at the end of that game. So when the Bears cut the lead to 3, so they made it 27-24. There was 2 minutes and 2 seconds left on the clock. The Bears decide to kick the ball inbounds, and the Vikings receive it. Now, Kevin O'Connell had told his player who was receiving the ball, look at me when you receive the ball, and I'll tell you what to do. So the guy looks over to the sideline, and Kevin O'Connell, you can see him saying, come out, bring the ball out. So the guy runs out, and then with 1 minute and 55 seconds left, the Vikings have the ball. And guess what? The Bears don't have the 2-minute warning to use to stop the clock, because he's a fantastic head coach and he knew exactly the strategy to use to prevent the Bears from having that extra timeout. I just think the display of coaching by Kevin O'Connell in that game was just absolutely fantastic. And so maybe it's recency, but I just think that's what I took away from week 1 is Kevin O'Connell's just absolutely fantastic as a head coach.
To add on to that, I mean, that was that was supposed to be our time to see what Ben Johnson is made out of. You know, I don't want to say it's the same situation. It's not. It's kind of similar, where it's like you got both of these teams that people are thinking like are going to take steps forward. I mean, obviously the Vikings did well last season, but no one thinks they're going to be taking a step back just because they lost Sam Darnold. So I think the Bears with Ben Johnson and just the whole new look there, it was one of those things where I was excited to see how it went, because I see Ben Johnson and Kevin O'Connell kind of in the same bracket as of coaches, where they're both young, bringing a new energy, and you can kind of tell these guys are going to be around the league for the next 10, 20 years. Like, I don't see either of these guys just falling out. That being said, I definitely think if it was a tale of two halves for Kevin O'Connell, if you looked at that first half, you'd be like, dude, this guy is getting torched. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what the plan is. But that second half is really, I mean, you look at the full game. It's like, hey, do you come out with a win or not? And they did, and they looked really good towards the end. So,
and that's what makes a great coach. When things aren't going your way, can you turn it around? Especially with your quarterback who's never played a game in the NFL. This is his first game, and he struggled the entire first half and into the third quarter, and he turned it around somehow. All right, so let's move on to our week 1 over or under reactions. So we've got a few questions I'm going to ask you guys, and you guys tell me if this is an overreaction or an underreaction. So the first one here is overreaction or underreaction. Bills wide receiver Keon Coleman will finish in the top 10 in receiving yards this season.
overreaction.
I think
Why do you say that?
An accurate reaction. Beaver, you first.
Because no one would have said that before this week's game. I mean, unless you're a Bills fan, maybe. And this might be another underreaction later on, but do any of you guys think Daniel Jones will be a top 5 quarterback in production this year? I mean,
No.
they routed the Dolphins. I just think that there's a lot of things in this. I mean, for the most part, it's 1 week, but no, I think even if he does catch fire, I think other defenses are going to kind of put a stop to that. But I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I just don't think he's going to be top 10.
I semi-disagree with that comparison, Avery, because we're talking about Daniel Jones on the Colts, who they were supposed to be bad. And then we're talking about the Dolphins team, which was damn near historically bad week 1. They weren't even the worst, technically weren't even the worst team of the week, but they looked very, very bad. And so we're talking about a guy who is not a bad football player, and comparing him to a team that played incredibly bad versus one of the only real options on a team that has arguably the best quarterback in the NFL. And so when you have the best quarterback, you're going to have a top 10 receiver in the NFL. It just is going to happen. Or at least it should happen. I remember in our fantasy draft when we were sitting here talking about it, and Keon Coleman was still on the board. I said, "Hey, we need to get that guy because Buffalo has no one else. They don't have anybody else. Matt Hollis isn't there anymore. Dalton Kincaid is not reliable. They don't have good reliable people, and the way Josh Allen was just slinging him the football in every scenario, and he was just catching it. It seriously, and this is an overreaction here, but it reminded me of back in the day, Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, where it's just throw him the football and he'll get it. He'll just get it wherever he's at. He'll just make the play, but he just continuously did the right thing, was in the right spot, which is what you want more than anything.
So, Avery, I have a follow-up question to that. So, if I would have told you that last year Ladd McConkey would have finished in the top 10 in receiving yards, would you have said yes?
Probably not.
Last year to start the season, I didn't even know who
he
Ladd
finished
McConkey
number
was.
10. He finished at number 10. He was a top 10 receiver in receiving yards last year. So, not that this it's a different player, but just saying nobody would have thought that Ladd McConkey would have finished top 10 in receiving yards.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not possible. I mean, there's probably a lot of guys that make the top 10 that I wouldn't have thought. I just don't think that this week is any indication of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I think this is an underreaction personally, because you look at his stat line. He had 8 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown on 11 targets. Guess how many times he was targeted with double-digit targets last year? One time, and it was in the very last game of the regular season. And Josh Allen did not play in that game. So that was the only time last year where he was targeted with double-digit targets. So in his rookie season, he was never targeted more than 7 times in any other game aside from that one game where Josh Allen did not play. The most catches he had in any game last year was 5. And he did that one time. He never had 5 catches again. It was only that one time. He averaged 19.2 yards a catch last year, which is pretty dang good. But this time, so far, he's averaging 14 yards a catch. Now, that may look worse, but to me, that tells me that he is a more well-rounded receiver now versus last year, instead of just being a one-trick pony where he can occasionally make a large play. He had one 100-yard receiving game last year, and he already has one this year. I think he's going to finish as a top 10 receiver in receiving yards this year because I think Josh Allen trusts him, and I think that he has become a more well-rounded receiver than he was last year going into his second year.
And this is no real indication on the entire season, but Buffalo as a team, Buffalo threw the ball 60% of the time. Now, granted, they were playing from behind a lot in that game. And 60% is an incredibly high mark. And so if you got a team who's got a player like Josh Allen and you play him passing 60% of the time, I mean, your receivers are just going to be good. They're just going to have a lot of yards. But again, it's week 1, and they were behind for most of the games until the very end. So it's just different.
Right, but we've also talked about this before, is in the AFC Championship game, who did Josh Allen have to rely on? He didn't have anybody.
Right.
Now, if Keon Coleman can, at least, he doesn't have to have 8 catches for 112 yards every game, but if he can just be a consistent receiver that Josh Allen trusts, that's going to make all the difference for the Bills, not only in the regular season, but when they get into the playoffs as well. All right, so second one here. Overreaction or underreaction, the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC.
Oh, overreaction.
Oh. Give your reasoning while I kill time.
So, I mean, the Super Bowl champions won their first game, right? Right, so the Super Bowl champion Eagles won their first game. And yeah, it didn't look the prettiest, but they had a huge weather delay, and that killed all the vibes. Nothing happened on Thursday before that, right? So, like, Or
They didn't even have their
eligibility.
best defensive player because he
Right,
spit
yeah.
on Dak.
Yeah, their best defensive player was an absolute idiot, spit on another human, which is just never okay. And
Was he their best defensive player?
Yeah, Jalen
He's
Carter
by
is
far
by
their
far.
best. Yeah,
He got
Yeah.
fined $57,000 or $52,000, something like that.
For the spit?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
spitting on him. No game suspensions or anything like that. Besides the one he got ejected for before the game even started. Absolutely ridiculous. So I think that you have to beat the best to be the best, and I'm not calling the Chargers the best. I'm sure we'll get to that too. But I think that I still have to give it to the Eagles. I think that they did just enough to win and didn't do more. That's why I kind of stopped there.
I would say that's an overreaction. I would say that, kind of going with what Will said, not necessarily need to beat the best, but I think that the teams that are ahead in my mind are the Eagles, the Vikings, and the Lions. And I feel like if you can beat those guys, everything else is just window dressing. Oregon spanked the ever-living shit out of Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
no
they
one's
did.
out here saying, like, they
Yeah,
can
69 to
beat
3.
Georgia. They can beat, it's like, hey, well, we all know in college, at least, that, like, there's a chasm of a difference when you're playing one team over another. And I think this is one of those where it's like, yeah, you did look really good, but when it comes down to it, like, let's see where you're actually at. Because right now we're talking, and I understand the nature of this game is overreaction, underreaction. But I want to see how they do long term, like over this season. I want to see how they do over the first 8 games before I would put them there. Just because I think those other teams, even if they have a slightly slow start, like even like the Lions, like I don't think the Lions are going to lose too many games. But yeah, I don't know if they're there yet. I mean, they could be. We just haven't seen it because they haven't played enough games.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm at. So like right now, I think it's an overreaction. I think they have the potential to be, but right now, I think it's an overreaction. And I love their defense aside from Micah Parsons. Screw Micah Parsons. He sucks. He's not even good anyway. But I really like what their defense is doing, and I'm a little bit worried about their offense. Like not worried about their offense, but I just think that their offense needs to show more, because as great as their defense was, they held the Lions to 13 points. The offense scored 27 points, which I'm not saying 27 points is bad, but you look at the Bills and Ravens, and I know they're not in the NFC, but they're out there scoring 40 points a game. You scored 10 points in the second half. So like, and you did not score off the turnover. So I just think that the Packers offense is still not elite. I think their defense can be elite. I don't know if their offense is elite. I think their offense is good. I don't think it's elite though. And so that's why I don't think that the Packers are the best team in the NFC. I do think they're a very good team, and I think they have the potential, but I don't think that they're the best team right now. All right, so moving on to the third one here. So I'm going to go with what Will actually mentioned with the Chargers. So overreaction or underreaction, the Los Angeles Chargers are an elite team.
I'm going to go with underreaction.
Oh.
And it's not because they beat the Chiefs. It is because of that, but it's specifically because the Chargers offensive line gave Justin Herbert a day and a half to throw the football. Joe Alt made that defensive line from the Chiefs look like small children. He put his hand on Chris Jones, and Chris Jones basically just stopped moving. Just like, no, you're going to stay here, and my guy back there, he's going to do what he wants. And given, we saw it in Oregon, we've seen flashes of it through his career. If you give Herbert enough time, he's going to make the play happen. They don't have Brandon Staley calling plays anymore, so they've got an actual head coach doing the right thing now. They've got a lot of the pieces there. I think Khalil Mack's still on that defense, right? He resigned in Los Angeles. I like this Chargers team a lot, and we've said multiple times in multiple different avenues, the Chiefs have kind of stayed stagnant. They've kind of stayed, yeah, we are this good, and we're going to keep being this good, but yet everybody else keeps creeping up and up and up and up. and the competition is just better now. So that the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and they're still going to be there at the end of the year. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not going to make the playoffs. That's wild. I'm not Avery last week, but but I think that this first week, I think it was real eye opening for both Chiefs and Chargers players alike. Like, oh, we actually got a guy, we got a dude, we got a team. We can do the thing. We're in Brazil, and we just did this thing to that team. Yeah, let's do it. So I think the Chargers now. Chargers are going to Charger. So who knows what's next? But like I said earlier, you're going to beat the best to be the best, and it was a beatdown. Say what you want about that game, they whooped the Chiefs.
Before I get into this, I just want to acknowledge, no one else can see this, only us, I believe, but whatever this picture is behind our screens, dude, they did me so dirty. I just want to point that out.
I was wondering when you were going to notice.
I'm looking at it, and it's hard to see because our screens are covering it. So while Will was giving that take, which I do agree with, I'm trying to find a way to look at it. And if you pull the screen down a little bit and just drop it it shows for a split second. I'm like, yo, let's redo that one. Big overreaction on the background.
That's exactly why I put it up there.
Jeez, dude, I'm 30 years older.
That's exactly why I put it on there.
That's so rough. All right. Anyway, no one will ever see that. So if you hear me talking about it, just know that it's already been changed by the time you listen to this. I also think it's an underreaction. I think the Chargers are looking really good. I mean, to be honest, I think the only reason I would ever say it's an overreaction is just because of how much they've kind of let me down over the past few seasons while thinking that they're better than they've been playing. So I've always felt that the Chargers are a little bit better of a team than their record reflects. And I think now it's been one game, but maybe it starts to show now. I think Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. I think he plays to win, which is why he leaves programs with so many issues. Because boys there to win, man. Rules are just something that get in the way. I think Herbert's great. I think most of that team is really good. So I think they could be a very elite team this year.
Cool. I actually put it is an overreaction. And not to say that they don't have the potential. It's kind of the same thing with the Packers for me. But you look at Justin Herbert's stats. He completed 73.5% of his passes. He threw for 318 yards, and he had 3 touchdowns. 4 players had at least 50 receiving yards. And so if you look at that and the win, then yes. But they did not create any turnovers on defense. And, it's the Chiefs, but the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes throws a lot more interceptions than people like to believe he does. They did not create any turnovers on defense, and their run game averaged 3.6 yards per carry. To be truly elite, I feel like you have to be a little bit better than that as a running team, especially because that's what Harbaugh wants to do, is he wants to run the ball. Now, I know they didn't do that in this game, and they didn't necessarily need to do that in this game, but I think in order to be a truly elite team, that's what they need to do, and they need to create turnovers on the defensive side. Even though the defense did a very good job of containing Mahomes and that offense, I think they kind of let the Chiefs back in it a little bit, and so I would say they're not quite there, but they can be. All right, and then I've got one more for you guys here. So overreaction or underreaction, the Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL.
Overreaction.
Why do you say that?
For the same reason, I don't think Daniel Jones is the best quarterback in the league right now. I think that was a really bad week. I think, if anything, maybe for this week, they were the worst team. But I think if we're talking about who I think will end up with the worst record, not them. Like to reserve that spot usually for the Panthers. But yeah, I can see the Panthers. Maybe even the Patriots. I always think they're going to do a lot better. Maybe.
So
Yikes.
the Dolphins.
I don't know.
The Dolphins scored a touchdown this week. Not every team did that.
They also scored the second least amount of points in the league.
Sure. So then I feel like we kind of have to give worst team in the league to the Giants. You only scored 6 points and you didn't have a touchdown. I mean, the Giants statistically are yards per game, 23rd in rush yards per game. They're 23rd in pass yards per game. Completion percentage was 31st in the league. Your QB got sacked 5.3% or 5.1% of the time, 17th in the league. I mean, offensively and defensively, these Giants were bad. No turnovers either way. Time of possession, you were 15th in the league, right in the middle. I mean, these Giants were really bad. The Dolphins were not. Well, actually, looking at the numbers, the Giants did have the Dolphins had less yards, more points, less yards. Statistically, the Giants were actually better than the Dolphins. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, okay, what I don't understand, and I didn't know when I was going to get into this, but what I don't understand is the Dolphins pass the football 74% of the time. That's an incredibly high number for a quarterback that was very bad. He threw 31 passes in that game, which had 4.7 pass yards per attempt. That's really bad. And they just kept doing it. Now, granted, they couldn't run the ball either, but they had 6.5 yards per rush. So it's better than your passing yards, and that's really sad. I don't know. They only ran the ball 12 times in the entire game. They passed 31 times. They were playing from behind, and I get that. But when Tua looks as bad as he does, man, I'm having to eat some words there. He looked real bad. Yeah, Dolphins are the worst team right now. But it's just for right now. It's not a forever.
See, I think it's an underreaction because there's just no way that a team that has that much talent can be that bad. Like, you've got Tua, who, some people already think he's a bad quarterback, but he's not the worst quarterback in the league. He looked like it, though. He threw 2 interceptions, and he lost a fumble, so he had 3 turnovers. He got benched for Zach Wilson in this game. That's how bad he was. Then you've got Tyreek Hill, you've got Jalen Waddle, you've got Devon Achane, you've got Ollie Gordon, who I know he's a rookie and he hasn't played much, but I think he's a promising young running back. There's no way you can have that much talent and be that bad. So I think that if this continues even just a couple more weeks, the Dolphins are going to have a fire sale.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a fire sale. Everybody's going to be available, and their team's just going to be bad because not only are you already bad with all the talent that you have, you're going to be bad once you trade all that talent away. So I think it's an underreaction because I can see this continuing, and when it continues, people are going to want out, they're going to request a trade, and they're going to be gone from that team, and then the team's not going to have anybody who can potentially turn things around.
I think the most damning thing to the whole team, is the whole Dolphins organization, is that everybody said, well, Mike McDaniel, and when Tua is healthy, this team will go. Me included, I said that. Those are my words. This team is good when Tua is healthy. Well, by all accounts, Tua is healthy. That whole team is healthy. And not the whole team, but most of that team is healthy. And Mike McDaniel, this is not his first year in an offense. Everyone's supposed to know the system. And they looked abysmal. I mean, they made the Colts look like all-stars, and that's saying something. Daniel Jones walked away looking like an MVP candidate.
Yeah, it was just bad. All right, so we probably have time for one more. I don't have any more, but do either of you guys have one that you want to do?
I got one if Avery doesn't.
Yeah, mine was kind of taken. Well, we talked about it, so you can go ahead.
Overreaction or underreaction? The new kickoff system is only going. The new kickoff system is going to improve the NFL, right? Like they're doing this whole thing for player safety, but like it's supposed to be. Oh, this is going to be great. So overreaction, underreaction. Not playoff, kickoff. I said playoff multiple times. The new kickoff thing is good for the NFL. Like this is a good thing. Did you see any kickoffs? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I guess I'm
Maybe it's
wondering
let
what
me
we're
just ask
comparing
me.
it to.
Let me just pose the question: do you like the new kickoff system that the NFL is doing?
As opposed to like what they used to do or
Yeah,
what
yeah,
college
yeah. As
does.
opposed to what they used to do. This whole new thing where you start the opponents start way up and you can't run until the ball is touched.
Yeah.
If a touchback.
What was the thing we did last year?
This is not the same
Wasn't
thing.
it?
They've penalized it even more. If you kick it in the end zone, a touchback is on the 35-yard line now. If you kick it too short, they start on the 40-yard line now. So you have to kick it into the returner's hands. It's this whole big thing.
Yeah. I like it. No, I was struggling to remember. Also, just college football is getting in my way. I like it, especially if it incentivizes the kicking team not like it incentivizes them to kick it to the player, but also incentivizes that team to try to run it out. I think the more that you can pit the two teams against each other to not just make it, just kick it out of the end zone. We don't want to risk it. Now it's like, well, we don't want to give them extra field position. Let's give it to them, but we also need to stop them because they will break past. I kind of like it in the sense that the line moving forward almost seems more linear, where before it was a lot more stretched out. So I feel like now you only have to like make like two guys miss, and then you're like off to the house,
I don't know
which
what
I
the
think can be
average.
very exciting.
I don't know what the average starting field position was this weekend, but it's way up there. There was a lot of drives starting like the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I saw a lot of drives start a lot further than we're used to. And I kind of like it because, I'm just used to seeing a kickoff and somebody just knee it in the end zone and then we just go to another commercial break. It's like, okay, well, what was even the point of watching that? Like, there wasn't even a point in watching it. It was basically the same thing as a commercial.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So-
I just remember hating
yeah.
that, hating to watch it.
Yeah, you come back from commercial, you do the kickoff, and then you just go to another commercial.
Yep.
Yeah, but
So
that's when you're
it's pretty
supposed
much pointless.
after a touchdown, that 2 minutes with the PAT, the commercial, the kickoff, the commercial, that's when you're supposed to be taking your mad dump and refilling your nachos. Now that kickoff is an exciting play, and so now you have to watch it. You lost dump time, is what you did. And that's not good.
Yep.
Now you got to hold it until halftime.
The massive
actually-
halftime dump just got even bigger.
I actually am anti this change. I don't like this. I don't like the whole new kickoff thing they have going. The 35-yard line.
Is this about your bowel movements? Is this
No,
where you're?
no,
Is this
no,
where it's leading? Okay.
No. This is about the defenses in the NFL, actually. The NFL, and rightfully so, is giving more favors to offenses, right? Because people like us are watching football to watch a 40-41 Sunday night football game. Nobody wants to see a 3-6 Alabama LSU game in the NFL. That's just not what they want to see. And so they want to see these high scoring, let's start the ball on the 40-yard line and go in and so we get more offense, this, that, and the other. I think they're doing defenses an incredible disservice, which I think is also why you're seeing these defensive player contracts go up and up and up. Because if you're really good at it, then you are worth even more because they've only got to cover 60 yards. They're not covering 80 yards anymore. So I don't like it because it's just handing more free yards to the offenses.
Yeah, I can say from that aspect because it does, like, if you're just going to move the ball even further forward than it was before, if you kick it, do a touchback or whatever, like, yeah, I get it. I get it from that aspect.
On the flip side, though, I've always felt like special teams was kind of a joke just because it's
Right.
basically just the transitional offense or defense into the other team getting in there. Like, you're basically just in there to not make a mistake. Like, unless you're the
Mhm.
returner. Like, any other job in special teams is just, look, we're already mentally counting these points or making or like have already like decided it's going to be punted and we're going to pin them there. Don't mess it up. Like, that's basically what it is. And I feel like this, although I do agree with Will, I like to see a team have to march down the field rather than 1, maybe 2 first downs. We're already in field goal range. But I would say that I would like it. Well, my reservations would leave if I saw the special teams around the league like really taking advantage of the situation. Meaning, I want to almost see at the end of the year some rule changes being proposed, either to do something to stop some team from exploiting this new kickoff situation, or to try to revert it back because some teams can't keep up. Like, I want to see teams that are like, oh, dude, it's like 20% chance they're going to take this to the house. Like, you have to stop them. They've figured something out here. They know now with the new dynamic of, like, rather than having to come in and just clashing, it starts here. They figured something out. I just want to see some innovation there. Because if they can figure something out,
sure
like the special tush push, the special teams tush push equivalent, like, I'd love to see something like that. Something that, like, forces the league to have to, like, at least reckon with some of their rules they have.
Granted, this was Oregon 2A high school football. So we're playing 9-on-9. It's not even 11-on-11 football. So I was out at reffing a game, and we asked them, hey, how's your kicker? What is your plan on kickoff? And the coach for this one school, the visiting school, said, oh, we're going to onside kick it every time because this is 9-man football. And if you kick it deep, it's just going to get run back because it's a normal-sized field with 4 less players, 2 on each side.
Yep.
And so we asked the other team, the home team, said, what's your plan? Oh, we're going to kick it deep every time. That team, the home team, had 2 kickoffs, ran all the way back for touchdowns that game. And
is that the team that said they wanted to onside kick it?
No, that's the team that said they were going to kick it deep.
Okay.
And the team that said they were going to onside it, they actually got 2 of those kickoffs back. They recovered the onside kick. And if you're going to give up, if you don't have a good kicker, especially in high school football, you're kicking the ball to 25, maybe 20-yard line, and that's not very good. I don't know how else to say it. And so they're going to get to the 40 anyway. And so if you onside kick it 10, 15 yards, they're at the 45. You're losing 5 yards, and you have an opportunity to get it. And so there's a real strategy. And what I'm saying is that in the NFL with this new kickoff system that they're doing, there absolutely will be an innovation of okay, so we can't surprise onside kick it. That really bothers me. That bothers me personally. We can't surprise onside kick it anymore.
That is dumb, yeah.
But and we can't move until he touches the football. So what if we just drill a ball right at the back of one of their front linemen and hope for the best? And if it bounces and goes in the end zone, it's a touchback on the 20-yard line. So let's just start kicking line drives at their front lineman guys and hope for the best. Because I don't think the rule says it has to touch that returner's hands. The whole gamesmanship, it's going on right now. They're going to figure out how to outsmart the damn system because it's a stupid system.
Yeah,
sorry,
teams always do. Teams always find a way around. No, it's all right. But
I was just going to say, real quick, there's this Malcolm Gladwell book called Outliers. Basically, this team, this coached a little, like a girls' basketball, maybe 10 years old. These, Palo Alto girls. These, their parents are, coders and stuff. They're small. They're not great. And what he did was he said, we're not better. We're not faster. We're not stronger. We're not more skilled. We're just going to run. And so they ran the full court press the entire game. And the opposing coach hated it. He's like, you can't keep doing that. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, dude, this is genius. Now, the thing is, in professionals, whether it's NBA or whatever, it's not realistic that you get these. You don't have them for that long to get them crazy conditioned to do some crazy stuff like that. But I do wonder with some of this, are there things, whether it's in the kickoff or whatever, where it's a matter of effort or I don't want to say risk, kind of going for it on fourth down every time. Obviously, there's usually a time and a place for that. But I do wonder how much of that, kind of with basketball, it's hey, if we just ran full court press all the time, we could probably win some games even if we're not as good. I wonder if there's some stuff in football like that, or at least what they could do with the kickoff system. Because I feel like there's going to be some teams that just try to do some dirty little tricks that stay within the rules, but the opposing coach will hate because it didn't go his way. and then their owner will ask to change the rule, and then we'll get some other convoluted, deformed kickoff thing until we're back to just let them get CTE, man. Just let them hit each other.
I mean,
Anyway,
you see it regularly, right? Because you get to go back to the Colin Kaepernick days where you didn't have regularly running quarterbacks in the NFL. There were some here and there. Michael Vick was well before that, but they didn't have this full RPO designed offensive system with that. And so as the athletic ability of your players will change, the way of the game changes. We had less run play percentage in the NFL. It was less this year than week 1 of the last 2 years. So we ran the ball less this year than the last 2 years, week 1, which means we're moving more to a throwing league again. I think the trend is that we're going to be throwing the ball a lot more. You saw it a lot that it just felt like the ball was being thrown a lot this week, unless you're the Ravens. They only threw the ball 19 times. And it didn't matter. They didn't need to throw the ball. But everybody else, their percentages were incredibly high for throwing the football. And so I think the game is very cyclical where it's, okay, we're paying our quarterbacks all this money. Let's have them throw the football. Let's get bigger plays through the air. And so I think that you're right, is that they're just coming up with more innovative ways to continue to push the game in every possible way. Whether we have to change rules for it or not, who knows? But you're getting these guys who can run, quarterbacks who can run the football very well, like a Lamar Jackson, a Jaden Daniels, a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, who runs very well. But then when they stand up and throw it, they're throwing the ball 100 flipping yards. And it's like, how are you this good at this much stuff?
Yeah. All right. Well, we should probably move on to our next segment.
Yeah, sorry.
We ran out of time. So you're good. So last week we announced that we are all looking for new NFL teams. And so this week we decided that we're going to go through some of the teams that we have eliminated as our new potential favorite team. So I don't know.
just kill this fly.
Avery
freaking got him, dude. He's juicy.
Avery's like Monty Ginobili over here with the bat on the court.
Man, buddy.
That's basically it.
That's a real deep
cut. He landed on the cable, and I'm like, he's gonna fly away any second. I'm like, just commit, and I got him. So very happy. Feels like a press conference. Like I didn't think I'd be able to get him. I got him.
Very proud of my performance.
Anyways, Avery, why don't you get us started by telling us who some of the teams are that you have eliminated as your potential favorite NFL team and the reasons as to why you eliminated those teams.
All right. Well, I started categorizing all the teams into about 5 different bins, or you call it whatever. Bottom tier, lower tier, mid tier, upper tier, and then top tier, which is arbitrary and has no structure whatsoever. They were just kind of divisions as far as what I liked from the different teams. But there's a lot of teams that I'm considering, but there's several that I am in no way considering. And these are those teams. First of all, we have the Browns. Can never see myself in that.
Hey, they look real good this week, though.
It has very little to do with how they perform today. There's a lot of reasons. I just can't. No Cleveland. There are 4 other teams on this bottom tier list. Second one is the Chiefs. Also, just can't do it. Although I will say that joining the Chiefs now, unless you're just somebody who just watches and knows who Taylor Swift is, if you're an NFL fan, like a real NFL fan, and you join the Chiefs now, I would not consider that bandwagoning. I think that they are over the hill as far as success in like this regime, this current tenure goes. So I feel like at this point, if you hop in, like you would be lucky to see 1, maybe 2 more Super Bowls. I think that time would have been 4 years ago to hop in. Number 3.
If I may add there, unless you start claiming, we won 7 straight AFC Championship games, and we won all these Super Bowls, like, pal, you just got here. Don't even act.
Yep.
Go to Goodwill and you buy a 2017 Chiefs Super Bowl shirt. It's like, all right, we're just making. I don't think that was a Super Bowl win, but like, still, come on.
Yep. Number 3, we got the Washington Redskins. Not going to be their fan. Not many people are. They got a few new teams that have come in since then, and they all are very derivative of the Redskins. They have the same colors. They're in the same town. They usually carry over the same players, coaches, and owners. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't know when we will see the Redskins back in action, but I will not be their fan, and I do not recognize the other teams that have come in its stead since. Number 4, the Burrs. Can't do it. One, I dislike their colors entirely. I think that dark navy with this orange that does not go well together is horrible. I think the font is gross. I think the C is overdone. Just be the Bears. Don't be the C's. We're the C's because Chicago, Chi-Town. They've not been good since the 80s. I think that they are a parody of themselves and should be embarrassed. Number 5, the Niners. Never liked the Niners. I think their fans are the worst. I know many Niners fans. I think despite their fandom, they are decent people. I think they're just misguided, and I think that the fandom makes them annoying and less than bearable to be around. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Shredding these teams.
It started with just the team, but now it's getting personal.
The
I'm just
people
getting
and the
ramped up.
individuals.
But that's it. That's 5. At this point, if I added anyone else, I would just go for the throat. So the Cleveland, Chiefs, Redskins, Niners, Bears. No go. Those weren't even like questions for me. So if you just wanted to know where I stood before that, that is it.
Okay. All right, Will, your turn. Give us the teams that you've eliminated as your potential favorite team and the reasons as to why.
Would you like me to go with 5 as well? Because I actually have more than 5 eliminated already.
How many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Go with 5.
I also
Why don't you go with 5?
have 12. I also have 12.
Okay, I will stick with 5 here.
We can eliminate more as more episodes go on.
So let's start with the NFC West. Let me just be plain about this. The only team remaining in the NFC West is the Rams, because they're the only team worth watching. I live in the Pacific Northwest. Seahawks and Niners fans, much like Avery just said, absolutely unbearable. They are. I have never once met a level-headed Seahawks fan. I truly never once. It is always, we're the best, we're this, we're that. Now, that's not true. There is one Seahawks fan who I would say keeps it pretty level-headed. Shout out Joey Case. But besides that guy, Seahawks fans are some of the most annoying to deal with people I've ever dealt with. And then you got the Niners. Put them in the same boat above the Seahawks for how terrible and annoying their fans are. And then we got the Cardinals here. I just don't like the decisions the organization is making. That's not where that one sits. I have nothing really against the Cardinals fans.
The fly's moving, dude.
I have nothing against Cardinals fans specifically, but I just don't like the way this team is moving. They feel very Cowboys-esque to me, where a couple decent decisions,
I put a cap over it so it couldn't escape. I'll deal with it after. Go ahead. Sorry.
They have a good team perpetually, but they're just like a couple good decisions away from being great, and they just continue to not make those decisions. And if I wanted that, I would just stick with the Cowboys. Let's see. So there's 3. Let's go. Man, I'm going to go with the Jets. All right, the Jets are on this list. Is never going to be a fan of them. One, you're in New York, right? I'm not flying to New York for anything, especially, New Jersey. You know what?
Oh, even worse.
Let's start over here. Let's go back to the Jets. We're sticking with the Jets. But you call yourselves the New York Jets, and then you're in New Jersey. Okay, I don't think I need to say anything more than that. I'm not going to that side of this country to watch a bad football team be bad. Your best quarterback in recent history is Mark Sanchez, and that's just not good. So there's that.
Fumble.
Yeah, Yeah, so there's 4. And I think just for sake of consistency here, I'm going to go with the Browns. Right? Browns are definitely off my list. There's no way. What can Brown do for me? Not be my favorite team. You have a dumb mascot.
To be fair, neither the Jets nor the Giants play in New York. They should both be the New Jersey.
They should both be New
Gentle
Jersey.
Giants.
Yes.
Yes.
The New Jersey football
But-
team.
The difference is that the Giants have Jackson Dart. So
Yeah, but the Giants logo on their helmet is lowercase letters, and that bothers me more than it should.
Trigger warning for Will.
That
Don't
gives me,
use
as
anything
they
other than
say,
all caps.
that gives me, as they say, the ick. But the Browns, I mean, I don't feel like there's much explanation really needed there. The Browns be the Browns, right? I like Dylan Gabriel. I like individual pieces. Myles Garrett, love what he's doing, ripping helmets off. Mason Rudolph, sit down for a while. I love what individual pieces of the Browns. But to call myself a Browns fan, there's just no way I could do that to my children. That's kind of where I'm at there.
all right. Cool. So I also have 12 teams eliminated, but just for the sake of time, I will give 5. I'm going to try to give 4 of them that are not teams that you guys mentioned. One of them I will mention, though, is the 49ers, because I cannot stand 49ers fans. Just
And you're
absolutely
in
cannot
California
stand
now.
them.
We should all choose
Yes.
the Niners.
No, but I used to work with a guy who swore that Brock Purdy is the best quarterback that has ever stepped foot on this planet. He's better than Tom Brady. He's a Hall of Famer. He's better than Joe Montana. He's better than Steve Young. He is the best quarterback that there has ever been in the NFL, and there's no question about it. I just hate that 49ers fans put all their players into the Hall of Fame when they're not even that good. Like Deebo Samuel, I mean, sure, he had a good week 1 game with the Commanders. Is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? Not even close. Not even close. But 49ers fans will tell you that Deebo Samuel is a first ballot Hall of Fame player. Same with Brock Purdy. And I cannot stand how they do that with all their players. I can't stand it. And that's why I am eliminating the 49ers. So the 4 other teams. So we've got the Jaguars. I don't think I even need to explain why. They're the Jaguars. They're just bad. They're always bad. And they're the Jaguars.
They ain't never not going to be bad.
Exactly. The Eagles. As a former Cowboys fan, I hate the Eagles. I cannot stand the Eagles. I will never enjoy watching the Eagles. I will always hate the Eagles. And I also think that Nick Sirianni is the most punchable face in the NFL. Every time I see his face, I want to punch him in the face. I cannot stand looking at that guy. Just the way that he acts, the way that he looks, I just want to punch him in the face every single time I see him. So that's why I'm eliminating the Eagles. The Packers are another team, as a former Cowboys fan, that I just cannot stand because they have beaten the Cowboys many, many times in the playoffs and just have given me so much grief as a former Cowboys fan that I just will never like the Packers. And also, they are the reason that I am now a former Cowboys fan. So the Packers are eliminated. The Saints are my 5th one. And the reason why it's the Saints, I love their colors. I love their colors, and their uniforms, I think, look really cool.
What about
But I will never...
What about this uniforms they just had? Their week 1 uniforms. What did you think of those?
I like their regular uniforms.
Yeah, these uniforms they wore week 1 sucked. They were so ugly.
Which ones?
The ones they wore yesterday, or Monday, or
No, which
Sunday.
team, sorry?
The Saints.
The Saints.
Oh, yeah. The helmet I thought was kind of nice. The jersey, I'm like, this is this gross banana-ass flavor. Like, that was weird.
It
wasn't even like a
gold.
yellow. It was
No, it's
like,
not.
it's gold, but let's like tone it down. Let's make it like creamy, darkened banana, like banana bread banana, like the sweet one that's already a little bruised.
Anyway, continue, please.
All right. So, the Saints, I will never be a fan of a team that thinks it's a good idea to draft Tyler Shuck. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
So, the Jags, Eagles, Packers, Saints, and 49ers are 5 of my 12 eliminated teams. that will definitely not be my new favorite team. All right, so we don't have that much time left. Avery, you told me that
Here we
your
go.
game is going to take about 10 minutes. So
Let's
if
just
we
do
can
it.
keep
Let's
it,
not talk about it. Let's just do it. All right,
Okay,
ready.
Let's do it.
Cleveland
Since
Browns. Oh, okay.
since the year 2000, which running backs have scored the most receiving touchdowns?
Darren Sproles.
Ooh.
Darren Sproles is number one.
Oh, nice.
We can go top
nice,
five.
nice.
Since 2000. LaShawn McCoy.
Since the year 2000. LaShawn McCoy is not on there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Todd Gurley on there?
Todd Gurley did not play long enough.
I know, but he was really good.
He was really good. Yeah.
Adrian Peterson?
Adrian Peterson is not on there. For the top five, there are two active.
Ooh.
His brother came back. He's looking for him. I thought I was like, oh, he started flying again. I'm like, no, he's still under the cap. Okay.
Oh, Austin Eckler?
Yeah, two of these players. Austin Eckler is not one of them.
Oh.
Two of them are active.
Okay.
The other two are retired.
Can I ask, are the two that are active, are they starters?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Derrick Henry, but he doesn't receive that much.
Nope.
No. If we were talking about all-around touchdowns, it would be Derrick Henry. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
And then also on top of this, there's a bonus question. Which running back since the year 2000 has the most receiving yards?
Is it
But
not Darren
you might
Sproles?
No.
Well, that actually surprises me.
Oh, no. Sorry. No, it is. So go for the second most.
Oh, okay. Second place here. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of these active players.
Active starters with a bunch of receiving touchdowns.
Yep.
Christian
and both
McCaffrey.
Oh,
is number
yep.
two.
Yep. Good job.
Okay, now the other one.
One of these
Thing.
you should definitely get. The other one, honestly, there's two of these you should definitely get. And the third one, not sure.
Is one of them, this may be totally off, is one of them Edgerrin James?
Nope.
Okay. I just took a wild guess there.
I like
Yep.
that. I like that.
Steven Jackson.
Steven Jackson is not on there.
Ooh.
I would say for most of this, think back to a little while ago. Like maybe around the time we started really paying attention to football.
It's not Jerome Bettis, is it?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson is number 8. But he does have the second most receiving yards. So there's the answer to that question.
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore is not on there.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think so. I was just taking another wild guess.
Active. Aaron Jones.
Nope.
Man, this is a hard question.
I will give you number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, though. Number 6, and this is more for the sake of, I would love for you guys to just keep guessing these, but this is a kind of tougher one. Number 6 is Marshall Faulk with 18. Number 7, tied with 6th, is Reggie Bush, 18. Then it's LaDainian Tomlinson. Then Tiki Barber, 12. And Le'Veon Bell at 8. So we have Darren Sproles at 1, McCaffrey at 2, and we're needing 3, 4, and 5.
I mean, it's Ron.
Alvin Kamara.
Oh,
Number 4.
Yep. Okay.
There it is. And these last two, number 5, you should know. It's a name I 100% know. You guys know very well. And then the other one, I didn't know this guy very well. He was also a little before my time.
It's not Zeke, is it?
No, I had actually never heard of this man before.
So one guy we should get, one guy we shouldn't, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe you know. I mean, I'm sure I'll say the name and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know who that is." I just didn't think he was a super well-known player.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
this is
Adam Sports just dropped Matt Gay. I think we need to cut this short and pick that boy up.
Dang, this is a hard question.
Can you give us?
I will give you the two teams that they are known for playing on.
Okay.
Same guy or
The two different guys. I'll just give the two teams. Patriots and Bears.
Matt Forte.
Matt Forte? Yep.
Matt Forte is number 5. They're looking for number 3. And he played his entire career on the Patriots.
Was it White? Last name White?
James White.
Yes.
James White.
Thank you.
Man.
Super Bowl. Like he
I had never
a
heard of him
couple
before.
big catches in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've seen him. That was never a name that and he didn't. I mean, he just recently stopped. I think 21.
Yeah, I could not. I could not have come up with his first name, but I could picture it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a tough one. That was a tough
good.
question.
That was good. I liked
That
that.
was a good one. All right.
That is the game.
Well, anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for today's episode. So next week we'll probably do, since we didn't really talk about it today, we'll probably do a little bit of like some fantasy football talk, just to maybe go over some like start and sit type of guys. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do next week, but we'll see what happens in week 2. So yeah, stay tuned for next week and what we have in store. And as always, don't forget to keep your balls played with. We'll see you next time.
Bye now, y'all. Also, Mark Davis's haircut still sucks.